Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the first episode of 2023. I am your host, Ronek, here at Got No Control Podcast, Graffiti Podcast. I want to start today by giving a shout out to my sponsor, Mayfresh Shop, which is located inside the Del Amo Indoor Swap Meet in the city of Dominguez. Make sure to check them out for all your graffiti supplies, airbrush services, and supplies. Good people, good prices. I also want to give another announcement. If you would like to help out the podcast financially, you're more than welcome to becoming a patron for as low as $10 a month, or checking out our website, buying a poster or a print. It all helps and contributes to the podcast. With that being said, let me introduce my special guest today, Crase 1 and Graff 1.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Pleasure to be here.
It's cold outside.
Yeah.
It's only spring for me.
It's beanie weather.
Yeah.
So, brothers, let's get right into it. For those who don't know who Crase and Graff 1 is, can you guys share a little bit about where you guys originally from and how you guys get introduced and start into the graffiti world?
Well, originally I'm from the Bronx. I came down here '83 around September.
Yeah.
Through a mutual friend in Hollywood High, how I ended up meeting Graff.
Okay.
And from there, it was just pretty much we hit it off from day one. Same things in common: b-boying, graffiti, hip hop. So it was just basically everything right there, perfect.
So,
And from there, it was just having the conversation of graffiti.
yeah.
And from one thing we know, we're talking about it. But I wasn't introduced to the radio at that moment until one conversation
Okay.
with somebody else, which was Sugar Pop.
Okay.
A lot of people don't really mention Sugar Pop, but Sugar Pop was a big part of the hip hop movement in the beginning.
And how old are you at this time?
16.
So what was the thought process? Like, what was going through your mind? New city, new beginning, new look, new people, different style?
It was a little crazy because fashion, the
Okay.
way we dress, the dress codes.
Okay.
So if I was to come in first day at school at Hollywood,
Yeah.
I definitely brought the attention because I was dressed in all red.
Okay.
So I had a red Kango, red shirt,
Yeah.
red suede Clydes in red, and a
Yeah.
pair of Lees with my buckle. Definitely didn't look, more like on the Latino side.
Okay.
The way I dressed, I was more hip hop. But to us, it's just a regular day in the Bronx.
Gotcha.
So of course that was a little uncomfortable to, get to know the way people dress in the neighborhoods and what not to wear.
So people kind of looked at you like, damn, this guy's different. What does he got going on over there?
That was the biggest thing, man. Just people looking at you like, yo, where you from, bro? And then I was like, I'm from the Bronx. And they were like, Puerto Rican? No, I'm not Puerto Rican. Because basically, you didn't have that many Puerto Ricans
Yeah.
back then in LA.
Okay.
But the way I spoke, different, just a method of how I said my words and everything, you can tell that I wasn't also from here.
The slang.
The slang was different.
Dope.
So that kind of caused a little friction too.
How about you, brother? Where are you originally from?
Right. I grew up in Venice, California, in LA.
Okay.
Teenage years in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And and got into the hip hop in 1980, 81.
Okay.
And like Crase said, I met him around 83 when he moved out here because I had other crew members that went to Hollywood High.
Okay.
Still. I was out of high school already because I was, 18, 19
Okay.
at the time.
Alrighty.
But we had other crew members that, that was at Hollywood High. So they introduced me to Crase. And, then that's how me and him got down. And he showed me, his artwork, and it kind of stepped my game up, Because when I got into it, there was no internet.
Okay.
There was no internet. And the guy in my crew, he came from the Bronx, and he was Bronx, Boston. He was, moving around over there.
A crew member.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he showed me graffiti first on pants that he did.
Okay.
And this was 80 or 81.
Like denim pants?
Yeah, jeans. Lee jeans that he did the graffiti on.
Or like paint markers?
Paint markers, acrylics.
Okay.
And so from there I said, oh, I draw because I've been drawing since I was 7 years old.
Okay.
But it was different type of stuff like oceanography, motorcycles and stuff
Gotcha.
like that. So he seen that. So when I seen that, I told him I'd draw. Then he showed me how to hook the letters up, bubble letters, make them connect and stuff. and stuff like that. So, but then after that, I, practice. And I had, of course I wasn't good because it was something new for me.
Yeah.
But then when I met Crase and seen his black book and all his pictures and stuff,
Yeah.
then, and he showed me the blends and all that stuff. So that's where my game elevated from.
So you being from LA back in that time, you said 83?
Yeah.
Around 83 when you guys linked up?
Oh, when we linked up, yes.
So what was going on as far as graffiti wise in LA around that time?
There wasn't a lot of graffiti artists. Well, in 82, when 81, 82, when I started going to the club radio.
Okay.
There was not a lot of graffiti artists.
Gotcha.
There was not a lot of graffiti artists. But, there's a lot of people say that they were around there. I mean, I didn't know, now people say they didn't know I was there. So it's all a perspective of where you were.
Gotcha.
And where I was the mecca of hip hop. If you was.
And aside of the Radio Club, how about the streets? Like, what would you see in the streets? Would you see like gang writing?
Gang writing, that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
That's basically it. You would just see guys putting up their sets, their crews.
Right.
And it was more Chicano writing than anything else.
So you witnessed the
that's what I witnessed.
The writing too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because when you're coming from the Bronx and you're coming from New York City, you always do that as a writer or even just as a normal kid. You know what you're looking at. You're going to tell just by the style, the crews. So when I started reading it, I was like, wait a minute, that's not a graffiti crew. And then kind of realized that that's something different from our way. But like Graff said, you might have been there, but nobody stood out. You see, in New York, one way we knew you were a writer, it was pretty common. You had paint on your hands, paint on your clothes, on your bubble jacket. You fit the look as a Graff writer. But in LA, nobody had that look at the moment.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of guys were still pretty much in the shadow, doing their thing around their neighborhood or around their way, just getting it up. And again, man, Los Angeles is huge. Right. It's really big. So you can have it spread out.
Yeah.
So you can have, let's say like Prime and Crime, and you could have Soon, which was a big influence, in the early days of the Graff scene.
You coming from the Bronx, brother, did you feel like it was important to stand out and show the New York style? Or were you just going as like, I'm just chilling, doing my thing?
Just hanging out, chilling.
Yeah.
I didn't bring it with that mentality. I just basically just came out here, started a new chapter.
And did you stay in touch with your homies back home? Like, hey, man, I'm over here and I see something different or not?
Yeah, you do. Because, back then it wasn't like we just hit you up on the internet. It was more like, you call and, of course, you had to pay because, they charge you by the minute. So you kept it brief, But you still had some writers that were actually coming from New York.
Okay.
A lot of the big, names in the Graff scene in New York, they were here even in 81, hitting Venice Beach. And as you know, Scene hit the Hollywood sign. Zephyr was out here, Revolt, Crash, Days, all those guys were already way early.
Okay. And so when you guys linked up, right? You guys meet each other. Was this at the Radio Club or did you guys meet each other before that?
Yeah, before that.
Before that in the street?
Yeah, because we had mutual friends.
Yeah.
And the people that he knew at school was in Shake City.
Gotcha. And that was a crew, Shake City?
Yeah, it was a breakdance crew.
Okay.
Well, it's a all elements crew, put it that way.
Gotcha.
Because we had producers, DJs, MCs, breakdancers. We had everybody.
And how important was that back then, like being a graffiti writer? How important was it, like the breakdancing, the hip hop, the MCing, the producing? Like, was that like important as a writer, or was it just it comes with it?
To me, I think it just comes with it because we were a family.
Okay.
And we created a brotherhood, which is always going to be there. It's
Definitely.
Always going to be there.
Yeah.
No matter what. And
it's like everybody put their portion into the pot.
Right.
Okay.
On the Graff side, it was just Graff and myself.
Right.
Then we had the B-Boys. As you know, Orko was also part of Shake City. He's one of the biggest legends you're going to find in LA, worldwide. When it came to music, we did have the DJs that were there from day one in the LA scene. But it was about being brought in together. Everybody knew what their role was. Exactly. But at the end of the day, it was just a role. And when you look at it further than that, it's brotherhood.
Gotcha.
We always were together. So for me, when I actually went to the liquor store one night on a Friday night or whatever,
Yeah.
and I walk in and there's a guy standing there, which was Sugar Pop. That's why I mentioned the name.
Okay.
Sugar Pop was dressed b-boy style, New York style.
For those who don't understand B-Boy New York style, can you guys elaborate a little bit about what that is and what it looks like?
Well, it's a totally
It's a
different.
different-
It's a totally different style
It's a
because
difference.
our crew 90% was from New York.
Okay.
So that means the one that was from LA, we adapted to their style, like
Yeah.
Crase said, with the Lee jeans, the belt buckles, the Tigra shirts, and all that. So we stood out, and that's why a lot of people thought I was from New York
Okay.
because of the way I dressed. It was totally different from LA.
Okay.
And
So,
like say when we would break, we would be in Lee jeans, regular clothes, and break like that. Other people out here, they put on the big pants with the bandanas tied around and stuff like that. We
Knee
didn't do
pads.
that.
Yeah.
Knee pads. And we didn't do
Yeah.
that.
gotcha.
We was able to get down how we were, how we walked the street.
And did you guys have to maneuver around the gangs to stay away from problems, or was it always mutual back then?
I say it was mutual.
It
I
was
mean,
mutual.
because we wasn't, if you mind your business here in LA, you mind your business, you go about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't worry about that. But if you look like you intimidated or you go looking for trouble, then that's when you get it.
Gotcha. So it wasn't really a problem being a graffiti writer, like these hardcore guys looking at you guys like, oh.
No, nothing like that.
I used
Nothing.
to carry my black book and, and I don't know why, but people always say, oh, you look like homeboy from so-and-so gang. I like, nah, I don't gang bang.
Yeah.
And so when I had my black book, they used to always say I was a Bible Crip
Okay.
because they used to think that was a Bible.
Yeah.
It's not a Bible.
Nobody knew.
Nobody
black
knew
book.
about it, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, brother, you guys, meet each other, you start hanging out, you guys are done with the crew. So then where do you guys take the next level as far as graffiti? Like, where do you guys start painting? Do you guys start hitting like walls, or what was available?
We actually did tags and stuff
Yeah.
like that, more of like Sunset, Hollywood and everything.
Yeah.
But the difference is here they buffed it quick.
Right.
Okay.
And
So,
that's why
it didn't blend. I mean, it didn't stay there that long.
And that's
Okay.
why some people say, well, I never seen you up because back then you right.
It was
And
gone.
it was gone the next day.
Oh, it was that quick.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
that quick because nobody wants that on their wall because then what that does, invite other people to write.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like today where like the freeways are all
No,
bombed
nothing.
and the
Had nothing
freights.
like that.
No.
And I had one conversation, which is to me one of my inspirations, which is Crash.
Yeah.
John Matos, Crash from New York.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was here earlier, and I remember one story we was talking about, and he said, "Yeah, we hit Venice Beach." He said next day they went to take pictures, it was gone.
Oh, wow. It was that quick,
Yeah.
huh?
So Graff in those days didn't stay up that much, but depending on your neighborhood, your zone, yeah, the gangbanging writing was still there because,
Yeah.
of
Right.
course, that would have brought a threat to the person
Right.
Yeah,
that was
definitely.
painting
over
it
there.
that was going to go over it.
Yeah.
One example, when we started filming Breakin, the first day of production was actually the wall before they even started the production. So I had that day to do it. And it wasn't that far actually from where we were staying at. And we got there at 7:30 in the morning. One of my best friends actually painted it, my boy Ruben.
Yeah.
Canon Films hired him to paint the wall because kind of they were intimidated by the neighborhood.
Paint the
And
walls like paint
just
graph on
white.
it? Oh, no.
Buffing.
Just
all
buffing.
white.
Okay.
But it did have writing on it, which was somebody's set.
Yeah.
Somebody did approach us. It's like, why are you going over my name? Why are you going over our wall? So we had to explain to the man, actually, the film production crew that was there had to explain to them all, we're filming a movie.
And do you remember who these people were? Like, did they have a name? Like,
Nah, it was just young guys coming up to you. But you could tell, that was their block. And they
okay.
didn't like it.
So stepping a little back.
Mhm.
So then you guys are hanging out, catching tags, and then the next step, it's a radio club, or there's something before that?
No,
That
it
was
was
the
Radio
Radio
Club.
Club.
So for those who don't understand or don't know what Radio Club, can you guys share a little bit about what that was and what it meant for you guys?
Radio Club was an underground club, hip hop club. It was the Mecca hip hop club in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
People came from San Diego, Riverside, all over to go to this place. And, you had people hanging out like Cyndi Lauper, Madonna, Malcolm McLaren, all in here,
Okay.
all in this club, little hot
Cuba
box.
Gooding Jr. was
Yeah,
another one in
all
there
of
as
them.
well.
And it was a little hot box.
So is it
Yeah.
fair to say this was like the very first hip hop club established in Los Angeles?
My
Yes.
opinion, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And and we had, like I told you, we had all elements. And so our DJs would DJ there alongside, Ice-T's DJ at the club, and he was the MC there every weekend.
Ice-T was?
Ice-T.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm. And so everybody was there, and and we had the best crew there.
As far as crew, you mean like breakdancing
Yeah,
crew?
yeah, the whole crew.
Breakdancing.
So,
Okay.
so because we wasn't in a graffiti crew.
Okay.
This was like we said, a brotherhood, and we just played our part of this brotherhood.
Yeah.
And and it was it started at 11 p.m. at night, ended at 6 in the morning.
Can you guys share how the vibe was in there? Like when you walk in, what was the vibe?
It was calm.
Yeah.
Everybody went there to have a good time and socialize.
Wow.
Not like now that everybody's on the phone,
Yeah.
taking selfies.
So it wasn't like nobody catching knuckle sandwiches or nothing?
You had a mature crowd.
Yeah.
You had some people that probably were in a higher scale of a neighborhood, you could say,
Yeah.
but they were there because of the music, and it's the best place to be. And also, if you remember, it was more punk rock at one
Right.
point. Carmelo, what's his name? Carmelo
Alvarez.
Alvarez can tell you that as well.
Okay.
He can cover that because he was there as well.
Okay.
And that's another person that can give you the history from day one. But it was different. How it became the Radiotron was another chapter. But prior to that, it was just the beginning of hip hop.
And did you guys know the people that ran Radio Club?
We knew of them, but like I said, our DJs and our production company, they knew them.
Okay. Okay.
They knew them. So, and that's what I was going to say. It was an underground club, so you were supposed to be 21
to be in there.
But we was able to get in younger because the connection.
The connection itself.
Gotcha. Dope.
And and we wasn't into drinking, so we wasn't going to be in there drinking stuff. We
Okay.
were just in there for the scene, the hip hop scene.
And how long would you say that you guys were hanging out at this Radio Club? Like, were you guys there for a couple years,
Like
couple
a
months?
year. I was with them for a year.
For a year?
Yeah, and up until they did the movie.
Yeah.
Which is Breakin.
You're
Correct.
Breaking. It was still Radio Club when they did the movie Breakin.
Okay.
And but I guess Carmelo was going to end up getting the club, the spot after the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Alrighty. So now that you shared about Radio Club, right? You guys were hanging out there, good vibes, good music, good times. What's next for you guys?
The opportunity came for the movie.
The opportunity for the
Um,
movie Breakin.
Yes.
Can you guys talk a
because-
little bit about the opportunity?
What was it? More like with Ice-T it started.
Right. Well,
For us.
with us, our crew went to, because I also danced too. So
Okay.
we went to perform, to audition for the dance part. I didn't know Crase was working on the graffiti part.
Okay.
So so we end up not getting in, the politics.
Yeah.
The politics.
Yeah.
So then, we didn't get, well, we got extras. We were extras in the movie.
Yeah.
With extras in the movie. Then next thing I know, Chris said, hey, we gonna do Breakin'. So he brought me in.
How did the opportunity come about, brother?
It was actually one of our members that is close with Ice-T.
Okay.
And they were having a conversation, and if you went to the club, there was the sound little room that's right on the stage. It's
Okay.
like a little hole there. I forgot what
Okay.
they call it.
We used
That
to call
was-
it the attic.
The attic, yeah. Because all you went there was basically to smoke
Yeah.
and tag up.
Okay.
Right.
Because
Okay.
there was a bunch of tags in there. It was people just writing their names, basically.
Okay.
It wasn't about, like Graff artists. It was just writing your name.
Yeah.
And somebody called me over from our crew, which I think it was Greg. Greg said, yo, Lefty, come over here, because everybody calls me Lefty.
Can I say something first?
Yeah.
Okay, Greg, his original name is Ice Cube G. I ain't saying somebody bit, but
That's his
that was
original
the
name.
original Ice Cube
Ice Cube
G.
G. Yeah.
Yeah.
in 80, 81. He probably had that name way before then, but when Shake
81.
City came out, he
Yeah.
was if you check the movie, you'll see it up there, and then it's not Ice Cube from NWA.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that.
But that's how the introduction came in.
So Ice Cube G said, "Hey, I got Lefty over here."
Yeah, because he was somehow they were having the conversation, and I think he mentioned about the graffiti and the b-boys and everything. And so he said, "Look, this is Lefty. He's part of Shake City."
Yeah.
He says, he's good. He's from the Bronx and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to saying the word good, I can't say I was good because I was like still in the minors when it came to New York.
Yeah.
New York had everybody. You had
they already had heavy hitters over there.
All the big boys were already way ahead of you. So you basically starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
And you work your way up.
Okay.
But in New York, it was a different level. So my minor leagues was basically already pros.
Yeah.
Here.
Pros, right. Exactly.
So that's how far behind LA was, huh?
Correct.
Okay.
In a way it was. I had the conversation with Soon, and Soon can tell you too. He also came from the Bronx.
Okay.
And our discussion is like, not that you evaluate the Graff scene, but you can tell that it wasn't at that stage yet.
Okay.
So that's how the opportunity came. And he said, all right. He said, you nice? I said, well, yeah. I wasn't going to say no.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't going to be dumb.
So Ice-T comes to, hey, Lefty, you nice with the can? Or?
Yeah. So he said, look, they're having the auditions. I think it was on a Monday off of Vine. He said, you want to come by? I'll get you in. I said, okay, thank you. I went in there right after school. Boom, I walked it over because I was at Hollywood High.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to the person that was in the art directing position.
Yeah.
And they just had this big board, like 8x10, and said, all right, do whatever you want.
Like a plywood?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And they gave me some cans. I did it. And they said, okay, thank you. And that was it.
And Ice-T must have thought he was nice with it because Brim had came out here.
Right.
Brim from New York.
Okay.
From Tats Crew.
Yeah. And so, he's ahead of the game, and he used to live with Ice-T for a while. So Ice-T seen good stuff.
Yeah.
So then when Lefty did his stuff, Ice-T must have thought it was legit, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
And then I got the call from Cannon. Cannon said, listen, we want to bring you in.
Canyon, the film.
Cannon Films, yeah.
How was that feeling, bro? Can you share a little bit? How was that feeling of getting called and like, hey?
It was shocking because it's not the reason I came here.
Yeah.
It was more like, damn, hey, I'll take it. I didn't even ask how much I was getting paid.
Yeah.
That's
but
how
you got
naive
paid.
I was. Yeah.
Okay.
And I do. And that's something I had a discussion with somebody else. We was talking about that. It's like, and Graff also was kind of shocked that I still had the pay stubs.
Yeah. I said he kept all this stuff.
On the record, I'm like, all right, so was I the first one that ever got paid for Graff in LA? Because I got the proof. I got the pay stubs from Cannon.
It's a strong possibility.
It could be, who knows?
It's a strong possibility.
But I would say because I still have that proof.
Yeah.
And we said it joking around. Yeah, there could have been somebody else that could have been getting paid doing walls or any kind of commission.
But as far as film.
Film,
yeah.
It's a strong possibility.
Yeah.
Because
plus we got credit.
Yeah. Plus Breakin one of the first hip hop films.
Yeah. And did you help him with the piece?
Yes.
Like you guys both painted it together?
Yeah.
Yeah, the main piece, yes, and one of our other members, Speedy T.
Speedy.
Yeah.
His name Trevor.
And for those that might watch this episode and do not know what Breakin is, the movie, can you guys share a little bit about what Breakin was?
I always thought we filmed it in 83, came out in 84, but everybody always was saying 84. I said, no, we filmed that in 83.
It was filmed in 83.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out in 84. And Breakin was, if you think, you would think it was a Breakin movie, but no, it was more of a popping movie.
It was.
But back in the days when I was younger,
yeah,
when they used to say you was popping and locking, they used to say, well, break.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why they used that Breakin.
Got you.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that the movie Breakin was one of the very first hip hop breaking pop locking movies to come out.
Yeah.
Yes.
You also had other independent movies in New York.
Right.
Okay.
That was more hardcore hip hop.
Okay.
Which that was also part. You had the graffiti, which was by Lee Quinones, Lady Pink, and others. But the main characters were them.
Yeah.
But their part was basically being a couple.
Gotcha.
And then you had the DJs, the MCs, Cold Crush Brothers, Theodore and the Romantic Five MCs which were pioneers in the game as
Yeah.
a crew, basically, bringing it on the screen. You have Theodore on it, Grandmaster Flash does a cameo. So when they did the movie Wild Style, it covered everything as
Everything,
well.
right.
Rocksteady.
Okay.
Rocksteady was already on their second pretty much movie. Their first was Flashdance.
Gotcha.
A lot of people don't recognize that, but they were part of the game from day one also.
Real gotta recognize real.
74, whatever it was, yeah. But in LA, Breakin, you can say, was the first.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
And for the movie Breakin, what pieces did you guys do? You guys did the actual Breakin piece? And
I did
That's
the Breakin.
Crase.
Okay. And then what came after that?
The Radiotron.
The Radiotron.
The radio.
Radio. And there's
Radio.
actually to be explained because when they hired me, it was just to do the Breakin piece.
Yeah.
And then they were already looking at the scene at the club. And I got the call, which I think Carmelo went over it with you as well.
Yeah.
So they called while they were there. Carmelo was there, present at the time. And they said, you know what? We should make it more of a New York vibe, probably type of look. Because you had the Roxy's in New York that had the Graff, and other clubs also had it.
Yeah.
So you wanted to make it look like, yes, this is a hip hop club.
Okay.
Originally, and Graff could tell you, the radio was punk rock / introduction into hip hop.
Okay.
And then the hip hop took over. Punk rock went right out the door.
Were you guys able to see a punk band or two there or no?
I didn't see them,
I
but
didn't
the
see no
music
punk,
played
yeah,
minimum.
Okay, minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Okay.
Because now all the new music that's coming in from New York is being played there.
Okay.
And some it wasn't even on the radio yet at the time.
So the production company calls you up, hey, we want to put a radio club here, graffiti.
Correct.
So you go ahead and paint Radio Club inside, which then became Radiotron.
Correct.
Right.
Can you guys share a little bit about how he became from Radio Club, the bomb from it saying Radio Club to Radiotron?
It was pretty much copyright.
Okay.
What happened was the guys that were running the radio.
The
felt
Radio
like-
Club?
Yes.
Okay.
They were like, well,
Want
you're
to be
using
paid.
our club. You got to take care of my pockets.
Yeah.
And we have a copyright because we are the leaseholders on this club.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cannon already had told me to do Radio Club.
Yeah.
But the stage was big. So when they asked me, can you do it? I said, well, I can, but I need somebody else to help me.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I went to Graff because I didn't know any other Graff writer
Yeah.
at the time in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, you know what, let's just do it. And it wasn't something like we planned it or had enough time to even prep because it was a call today. You're doing it tomorrow morning, 7 in.
That's Hollywood for you.
Right.
And they actually called me around maybe 5, 6 in the afternoon.
Okay.
So I was just like, all right, I'll go. And then when Graff comes over, he's like, you have an island? I was like, no. He's like, all right, let's just do whatever. And bingo.
You
it
got
was
the
done.
Radio Club.
We get the Radio Club. Everything is going smooth. And then the bickering begins about the money and the copyrights.
Hey,
and
man, I didn't get
all
no
this.
money. What you doing using my
Yeah,
name?
right.
So they said, well, you're
And
not going
plus-
to use it.
And plus, they was mad because Carmelo was getting that building afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
so they were losing the lease.
Right.
At the moment.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then they call up, and then I'm assuming the production company tells you, hey, we can't use Radio Club.
We were there.
We were
Oh,
there.
we were there when they decided to-
and Crase went to talk to him on the phone.
So then where did the Tron come from?
The movie.
Yeah,
We were talking
yeah,
about it.
and-
The movie
and-
Tron.
Right. And we were thinking, okay, we can't use the club.
Yeah.
Let's go into the future.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the movie was in the future. So we put Radiotron. So the
Yeah.
future.
And it was part because I saw the movie and we started joking around.
Yeah.
And we joked around, said, and he said, yeah, let's do something futuristic. And I said, yeah, Tron.
That's-
Just threw it out just as a joke.
That's
and
dope.
And-
They said, okay.
And that was Crazy's. Keep wanting to call him Lefty. That's what we call him, Lefty. But that was his outline.
Okay.
The Radiotron, yes.
And how many cans did that take?
Wow,
I don't
probably over
remember.
30
Yeah.
because that wall was big.
Big. Yeah,
Krylon?
big.
Yeah,
Krylon,
basically.
yeah.
That's all they
Stock tip,
provided.
huh?
Stock tip.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Fell off the ladder probably once or twice.
High
And,
pressure?
not even, man. It was just regular paint, a project at home paint
Right,
from Krylon.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then you guys paint the Radiotron. It's done with. They filmed the movie, right?
Mhm.
And
No, not even.
they don't film the movie?
Because now they said, all right, you know what? Do whatever you want.
Yeah, so that's why the rest of the club is done too.
Yeah.
So now it's fair to say on camera that you guys were the very first to paint Radiotron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were
Without
no
a doubt.
tags
Without
inside,
a
no
doubt.
nothing.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Okay, so then you guys go ahead. You guys paint the inside. The film company do what they do. Do you guys stick around for when it became Radiotron with Carmelo?
Yeah, yeah. We would go up there.
Oh, yeah?
Because then, like I was telling you, I don't know if I said it on camera, but, you know, we talked before. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you how we had the crew, and we would go there, and, you know, you had other crews coming up now, breakdance crew.
Yeah.
So you go there to battle. You know?
So is it fair to say that Graffiti Crew was as big back then? It was more about just having a crew in general?
yes.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody played
Because
their part?
I didn't know any graffiti crews,
Okay.
you know. I knew individual writers,
Okay.
no crews.
And around what time would you say the very first writers started coming in? Like people that actually were into graffiti outside of you guys?
Well, that was, they would come in during the day when Carmelo had it as a youth center.
Okay.
Because
Mhm.
they started going over the pieces, just adding dots here and putting lines in the pieces that was already up from the movie.
Okay.
Because he left all that stuff up.
Okay.
So that's when they started coming in.
Oh, so you guys were still going at nighttime from
Yeah.
from
Yeah, we
11
were
to
still
6 a.m.
clubbing.
Yeah, because
To us, it was a club. It was our hangout.
Okay.
Carmelo let it be a club at night. Yes,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when
Yeah.
did the club actually stop? Like the night part?
I guess when they got ready to tear it down.
Yeah.
Oh, so the nightclub was all the way through Radiotron? Era?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was still going.
Oh,
through
I didn't know that.
Radiotron. Yeah.
I thought it had stopped and it just became
Nah.
Radiotron.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not Radio Club wasn't going up. Carmelo, he had the youth in the day, then he had a little club at night. The same way.
So he pretty much kept the same system going, but
Yeah,
just different name.
But yeah, and
No,
then
yeah.
you didn't have the older people coming. More of the older people wasn't there then.
Now it's a younger crowd.
Just
Young-
youngsters.
younger generation.
And how old are you guys at this time? Like 19, 20?
19.
He was.
Well,
I was
yeah,
like 16, 17.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm 59 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Okay.
turned 17, so
How was your guys' relationship with Carmelo? Like the very first time you guys seen him, what was your thought about him? Like, was this guy's cool, or man,
No,
kill him, man, bounce, dude, get out of here.
Nah.
with Carmelo's, it's all about love and family.
Yeah, and I respected what he was doing.
You know,
So
Yeah.
we
yeah,
had
it
that
was nice.
discussion. Like
Okay.
personally, I had that discussion with Carmelo, and even with Hex from TGO. You know what Carmelo had brought there is the foundation.
Right.
You know, that man deserves every single drop of credit that came out of somebody's sweat from breaking on that floor for jazz dance, because that was something he was into.
Okay.
So if you have, let's say, 10 kids, and maybe 5 of them already starting to get into gangbanging,
Yeah.
but one of them becomes something else and leaves that life,
And you won.
he won. He's
Would-
already winning.
Would you say it's fair to also give flowers to the guys that own RadioClub because they were the first ones to make this happen, or no?
You can say
So
that.
yeah.
Yeah, because they had the idea.
Yeah.
You know, they probably were in New York and they saw that hip hop was, because hip hop took everything quick.
Okay.
And at the beginning, everybody discredited it.
Definitely.
That's gonna fade away. That music, that little jibbly
Yeah,
jab,
yeah.
tap. It's not gonna go nowhere. Oh, these guys are, mopping the floor. Yeah, okay. Watch their mom beat them up when they go home because their pants are dirty. So nobody really thought about it.
Okay.
And of course, graffiti was vandalism.
Right. And that's the thing with me, like with graffiti, why it kind of died out to me, because I was an artist, so it was just something that I knew how to do, but I didn't think it was going to be where it is today.
It just added to your creativity.
Yeah, but I didn't think it would be where it was today. And I think if Crase had stayed, sky would have been the limit.
Yeah.
It would have been the limit. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If he had stayed here in LA,
Yeah.
would have been the limit. Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So at what point do you guys start visiting Radiotron in the day to meet the writers there?
Never went in the
I never
daytime
went.
because I had a job.
Oh,
Yeah. I never went.
Yeah.
oh, you guys never went in the day, only nighttime?
No, only nighttime. And then plus, also, RadioClub, they moved to a different building on Sunset at the Stardust, right?
Okay.
But they didn't call it
RadioClub.
RadioClub. They call it the Mix.
The mix.
Yeah, but it was the same people.
Okay.
The
So,
same people.
but did
And-
you guys have contact with the writers that were coming into Radiotron?
No, I met the first writers that was at Radiotron is when I went over to Belmont one night.
Okay.
Crase was gone.
So
So
what year was this?
it had to be
84 and
84 or 85,
Okay.
yes, when he left. And I was painting in Hollywood. I had a couple of little guys with me from my crew, and a little guy from the Unique Dominoes, a little tough.
Yeah.
And in Hollywood and Highland, before it is how it is now,
Yeah.
it was just a Holiday Inn in the back, and all that was parking for the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Right there underground.
Mhm.
So I was doing pieces under there that night. Then Orko, which is from over there where Shandu and Rick are from, that
Okay.
neighborhood, he said, hey, there's some guys that do graffiti over there where I live. I said, well, let's go. And I
Yeah.
had, some scrap cans left over. So we go over there, and I'm not knowing it's a gang area because, like I said, I mind my business. I go do what I want. I mean, I'm not scared of no gangs anyway. But,
Yeah.
we went there, but I didn't know what neighborhood it was. So it was just a big yard, and he said, oh, yeah, they call it Belmont. So I went down there and I did something. And then we left. Then he said, hey, the next week, he said, hey, those guys that do graffiti over there, they did something. So we went back the following week and we looked at it, and I seen what they had did, and that became the famous Graff and Shandu battle.
Yeah.
And I didn't meet Shandu until 2 years after that.
Also, there was never really a battle.
Not both of us there at the same time. No,
So it was more of like a
I did something, then they did something, and it became a battle.
okay. And you didn't meet each other till 2 years after that.
About 2 years after that.
And
I
did you
met
keep
Shandu.
going to the Belmont?
No, I went to the Belmont just to look,
Okay.
but not because I became a fan.
Okay.
Not of them. I mean, of all graffiti.
Gotcha.
I became a fan, but
And when you left, brother, was it like a personal thing, like a family thing, or you just said screw LA?
I went to visit and I just stayed. It was called being homesick, man.
Okay.
Because basically when I was here, the closest I had to family was pretty much Shake City, from hanging out with them. So that kind of took off and eased my mind of missing my brother Steve, my cousins, my parents, of course, so
Oh, so you came down here alone?
yeah,
And
I was out here alone.
to begin with?
Yeah.
At
My parents
16?
sent me over. Yeah. I stayed with, two friends of the family, a couple.
Oh, okay. I thought
from
you were
the
like by
family.
yourself, like
No, no,
like
not
thugging it out. Like,
No,
oh,
no.
damn.
Nah,
That's the
dude,
first
that
time I heard
was-
that.
So I stayed with them. They were
Yeah.
beautiful people. They took me in. But we were, friends,
Yeah.
family friends from early 70s as well.
So what year was this when you went back home?
End of 84.
84.
Yeah, it was 84.
And when
Because
you got back home, were you still like with the graffiti mentality, like I'm gonna keep going, or did you kind of give it up?
I would say it was only like 10% left in my brain.
Okay.
Because once I got back home, I had to like change everything. Parents are like, all right, you know what, you're back. What are you gonna do?
But they didn't have no hope in you, even though you did the movie, or they didn't know about the movie.
No, they knew the movie. We saw it together actually when it came out over there in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were happy about it, because it's not like something that we look forward to doing.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, cool. But to me, it was just the opportunity. Like I always said, I was a lucky skinny kid from the Bronx
Uh-huh.
that landed at the spot and got the opportunity, did it, and moved on.
So you didn't seek like another opportunity, like maybe I could do more movies or more stuff.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. For me, it was just, all right, you know what? I have fun. Next.
Is there a reason why you lost the love for graffiti, or is it just
No, I still have. It's like Graff said, you always will be a fan of
Yeah.
graffiti. And for me, it was basically going back home. Once I got home,
Yeah.
you got to change. It's like, all right, the reality is going to hit. Reality means you got to be more responsible for what you do.
Yeah.
Because every parent is always going to want better for you. Every parent's going to say, you got to do this, you got to do that. It's not that they're pushing you. It's just that they want you to be more successful than even them.
Okay.
They work hard to make sure you were taken care of.
Definitely.
So, of course, every parent, doesn't matter who you are,
Yeah.
will always want you to be above.
Definitely. And how was the scene back then when you got back home? You said it was 84?
85.
85. How was it when you back at home? Like, how was the scene?
It was really starting to go off.
Yeah.
Now, the person I had a conversation, Cope 2 was just coming strong.
Yeah.
He took what we used to call, the 4-line king, And after he finished with that line, he moved over to another line, which is just basically the route that the train has. So over there is by numbers and letters. So you had other guys that started to bomb the streets heavy, Easy, Josh, Delta, Sharp. All those guys were just doing so much work out there.
And did you have an opportunity to meet these guys when they were active?
Yes.
You met them down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
In 90, actually, I did a show which included another good friend of mine, Zimad was there. Nomad was another gentleman.
You say you did a show as like you showcase your art?
Yes, we did canvases. They sold.
Okay.
Eve One, which is one of my best friends from my neighborhood also, which is very talented.
Yeah.
Shout out to him because he's done a lot of other stuff, now that he's a grown man.
Okay.
He's at a different level now too. So you always got to respect every individual that takes a talent and makes it to do something with it.
So for you, Graff, when your old dog's gone, you just hit the Belmont Tunnel, you're in LA. What was next for you?
I was supposed to do, because Crase had, talked to David Zito, who was the producer of the first of Breakin.
Okay.
And I was supposed to do the second one.
Breakin too.
Yeah, called Electric Boogaloo.
Uh-huh.
But he wasn't the producer. So then they got some kid named Zodiac to do it. Him and his girlfriend did it, I think.
Zodiac.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't do that. Then with him gone, I'm not really inspired. And so I really get more into b-boying.
Okay.
Breaking.
Yeah.
And so the crew is doing shows, doing contests, dancing at premieres for like Sylvester Stallone, Dolly Parton, their movie that came out, Rhinestone. So
yeah.
Get more into that, the breaking part.
And at this time, it was 85, 86?
Yeah.
How was the graffiti scene in LA? Like, was it starting to escalate as much as how for him when he got back home, or no?
Right. There's a lot of crews that started coming out. And then the first crew I heard of was LA Bomb Squad. Okay. But then I started hearing of these other crews like WCA and, crews like that, And, some people I knew in WCA, but I knew them from before the hip hop scene.
Okay.
When they were younger kids and Pop Warner football.
So you guys had mutual childhood friendships.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But before that, and, and the scene started to take off here then, but at one point it died down.
Like what year would you say that is?
I'm gonna say 87, 86, 87.
It was like dying down for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason.
Okay.
And
did you happen to see anything or any writer that kind of inspired you? Like, damn, that guy getting down over
there. Yeah, he left.
No. Yeah, but I'm saying once he left and you're down here alone.
I seen Teller, because I moved to me and my daughter's mom. We moved to Irolo, which is, it would be Normandy. It was called Normandy, but it turns into Irolo.
Okay.
Over there, I used to see Teller, and I think the other dude was Scratch, or Euler, or somebody he used to write with, and they were nice. I used to see that. You know, so I think Teller. Yeah, I met him. We cool. Yeah,
I followed a few guys after that. Conversations with him. There was another guy I knew. He was giving me some info. Minor was definitely somebody I actually really liked his work.
Okay.
Clever, Dream.
Yeah,
you know, those were the guys that I saw around 85, and they were really getting down here.
Did you guys ever happen to land get into any type of beef, or like where it had to escalate to like a knuckle sandwich?
Nah.
No? Everything else was mutual?
Yeah.
And throughout the years,
because see, with our crew, you had Shake City.
Yeah.
But there was also, there were some goons in Shake City that wasn't breakers or none of that stuff.
They were just goons.
Yeah, but they were Shake City.
Yeah.
And so, we didn't need to get into none of that.
Okay.
So, and for us to get into it with somebody else, then that's going to bring them in, because like I said, it was a brotherhood.
Yeah.
So, nah.
So throughout all the years, what do you think kept your guys' friendship as strong as it is for today? Like him leaving?
Family.
Yeah, it's family.
So you guys all still hang out like all the Shake City?
His brother used to come down to the Bronx.
Stay at his house.
Ice Cube, which is Greg.
Greg.
He would
Yeah.
be down there.
Mhm.
Ricky,
Rick.
Barry,
Mhm.
another one. Mike T, another one that was down there. So everybody would come to Bronx. They stay with me.
Okay,
You know,
that's dope.
so
Yeah, you
that
guys kept
relationship
that
never
together.
ends.
Like I said, it was a
Never
brotherhood.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be like
And
that.
obviously, Ice-T becoming such a big act, right? Like what he become today. Do you guys still have some type of like conversation with him in any way?
No, not
I
me.
don't. No, we
You
don't.
think he'll remember you guys if he sees you guys?
We tell him Shake
Yeah.
City.
Yeah, the name he will.
Yeah, the name he
The
will,
name he
definitely.
Like,
But
hey,
there's
I'm
guys in our crew,
Crew.
Yeah.
That
like
still talk to
Speedy
him,
that
yeah.
still talk to him.
Yeah.
They can talk to him on a daily basis.
okay.
You know, if they
Yeah.
want. You know, so that's there.
You guys coming from a different era in the graffiti world. It was different for you guys than what it is for today for the new youngsters. Do you guys still keep your eye open and see what's going on around?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I like the stuff that's out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
What is something that you kind of look at and be like, oh, that's pretty dope. You
For
got
me,
it?
it's color.
Yeah.
Color?
Blending.
I like yeah.
Blending.
To me, I would say two guys that there's a few.
Yeah.
If I had to put them in an order, which I'm not,
Yeah.
because then it's like saying, oh well, he's being preferred for that guy than
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one. It's not going to be like that. Because I look at also when I meet the person, the bonding.
Hmm.
Besides the talent, you can be talented, but you can have a nasty attitude.
Right.
I don't care about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but the conversations I had, the relationship I had with, like, let's say Hex,
Okay.
top of the line for me.
Yeah.
Like
Ooh,
that
you
night.
think so?
Well, for me, I get along with Hex.
Hey,
And I
shout out to
respect him.
Create. That's the hardest working
Now,
man in
that's the next
graffiti
person
business.
I was gonna say. You see, so I can put Create, I can put
Yeah.
Hex, I can put
I like
also
Hex, though.
like Risk. I
Yeah.
can also put Soon, because I got to know Soon. We picked out, each other's brain and our little knowledge. He schooled me on what took over. Now I can say Soon was Style Master.
Oh yeah,
When
he
he
definitely
was
changed
here.
the game when
He
he came
changed
to
the
LA.
game.
When he
And
came
were
to
you
LA.
guys
He has
hanging out?
the
Were you guys
pictures.
hanging out when he came down here? Like,
No,
or you were already
but
gone?
I was gone, but I tell you one thing, like Graff said,
Yeah.
if I would have stayed, and I know for definite we would have hooked up somehow with Soon, it would have been over. It would have been over, because now you got the same mentality
Yeah.
across the board. And I have mad respect, much love for him.
Okay.
The same I have it for Create, which I think he's one of the most talented brothers out here. Same thing for Hex. Fiero's another one.
Oh yeah, Fear.
Fiero's another great
Yeah,
guy.
that's my guy.
Great.
Fear.
Dope,
Yeah.
dope.
Fiero is one of the best I met. Beautiful person when you meet him. So if you're watching, I got love for you, bro.
What do you guys say to the youngsters that be like, man, screw all them moles. I ain't got time for that. What do you guys
It's
say
not
to
even
those-
about us or for me. It's
Yeah.
not about me. It's about you. Take your talent, use it wisely.
Yeah.
Try to, evaluate yourself first. See what you can do. Don't give up, man.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
keep painting, perfection. Make it perfect. If it's not perfect for you, you keep working until it might not be perfect for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the person that's judging you,
Yeah.
but to you it is. Who cares, man? Just keep doing your thing. You get there.
And I think they should learn history first.
okay.
And the history.
History first.
And why do you think it's important to learn the history?
Because that lets you go back and look at guys who was here before you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, you don't think that you know it all and it started with you.
Gotcha. I totally agree
And
with you.
that's something I did before I came back in 2019.
Yeah.
I started getting into it, and like those gentlemen that I mentioned,
Yeah.
is why? Because I started following them, knowing who they are as artists. And then when I met them personally,
Yeah.
it's a different game. Like Zender's another one.
Yeah.
I met him in 2019. I saw him this weekend. Was a lot of love for the man.
Yeah,
Why?
definitely.
Because he put in his work.
Yeah.
But I have, that respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
You also have Shandu, who's another guy. Briefly spoke to him, on social. But when you look at his work, now he takes it to another level, just like Zender.
Definitely.
You see, you start here, you bring it up a little more, and you keep going. Once you reach that level, you can be anything. And
Yeah.
those are the things that those two artists have done at this time.
Definitely.
you know.
I totally agree with you on that.
And again, it's all respect.
It's
man.
evolution. You got to
It
evolve
is.
at some point.
It is. You have to. And then if you can teach somebody, why not?
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. Now you got girls
Yeah.
out here. You got girls that are really good at their game too, worldwide.
What do you guys think about the term street art? Outside of it being, Because at first it was you had your artist and then you had your graffiti artist, but now this tension with the street artists and graffiti artists. What are you guys' take on that?
Me, go ahead.
Street artists. I mean, they're not. Are they calling themselves graffiti artists? I mean, are they just getting up, and doing?
Well, I've been in conversations, right, where they say that back then an artist was just with the brush, but then here comes a graffiti writer or graffiti artist, and they introduce a spray can and they show what they could do with the spray can, and some say it's a debate that they take away from the graffiti writer or graffiti artist by taking their medium, which was the spray can, right? Because there was a time where the spray can wasn't really accepted by the art world.
Yeah.
So if you were an artist and you popped out a spray can, they're kind of looking at you like, "Hey man, what you doing?"
I'm sure when they did something in their shop or whatever, the street artist, I'm sure back in the day they used spray paint. Yeah. But it wasn't their biggest thing that they used. They used more of a paintbrush. But because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything's been done before. Yeah. It's been done before.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new. So I'm sure they probably didn't use spray paint before. It might be just a little hit here, hit there, along with their with their paintbrush. So do you know Hyde from K2S? Hygiene?
I've heard of him and I've been in conversations about him, but I don't personally know.
So what would you call him? Because his art is with, I don't know.
It could be pop, but it can be also something a little more.
I don't want to say it's an Asian, because I don't want to say Chinese or Japanese or whatever, because I don't know what he is. Yeah. Then mix in with his street stuff.
Okay.
So I mean, like his they're writing that they're doing now, like with
calligraphy.
Yeah, it's mixed in with that. Yeah. So,
but somebody that doesn't know graffiti, right? Like just an ordinary person that might be like, "Damn, I think graffiti's cool." How do you think they could define the difference between a street artist and a graffiti artist?
Today, I don't think you can.
You really can't,
unless you're just doing straight graffiti.
Yeah,
but there's now artists that can do both and blend both.
Yeah, which I feel is dope.
And there's guys that started from graffiti, from just being a tagger.
Yeah,
moved it up into doing pieces and now doing pop art. And they're more successful probably in that,
Gotcha.
But they have the foundation of graffiti. They were there. You can look at some artists like Mr. Cartoon, which was pretty much a tagger, and then he went into the Graff scene. But was that his first? No, was he really the first Mr. Cartoon? No.
Yeah.
Then you got to look at the real Mr. Cartoon.
Yeah.
Which I've spoken to recently as well. And when you look at his work, he can still throw in the background of graffiti.
Yeah.
Into it. But now he brought it up to something different that accepted, not only in the streets, but in higher society as well.
Definitely.
He will see his work in galleries. So, Carlos is another gentleman that has brought it up again. If you go look at Shandu's work, which I've been following, he's doing abstract, which is beautiful.
Yeah, I like
beautiful work.
I like it.
So those are the guys that can take one thing and do something else at the same time, but still have that foundation.
I would call it evolution. At some point, you have to evolve.
Right. There's many walls that are like that you look at and you say, wow.
To me, it's a blessing,
It is.
To be able to pay your bills doing something that you grew up loving.
Right.
To me, that's a blessing.
It's true. You go to Europe.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity, a great blessing.
Also. You go to Brazil, you have O.S. Hamels, the twins, those guys are world known as well.
So I got a couple questions for you guys before we get on out of here. How did mom and dad take it for both of you guys when they found out their kids were out there painting graffiti?
With me, I don't think my mom and dad ever knew what I was doing out there, but my mom knew I was doing something in the house, canvases and stuff like that, because she used to get mad because I didn't wear a mask in the house.
Yeah.
And she said I was going to fry my brain. Yeah. But so she knew I was doing hip hop art.
Okay.
But she only seen the part of, she seen the movie part and then the canvases.
Okay.
But no illegal stuff. Well, she knows now.
How about you, brother? How did your mom and dad take it?
My dad's a silent type, but Mom was, of course, the vocal one that would say, I hate it, and you wasted your time, and you big dummy, you know, you could have done other things, you could have finished school, do school this, do that. Of course, school was always number one. So I always got it from her more than my dad,
Yeah.
you know. But I really don't, well, she never really talked about it, like, well, maybe you should have stayed in it. You see, you could have been this.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't go into that, but definitely wasn't something that was liked at home. You know, of course, she didn't like it. So.
Yeah, me coming from a Mexicano family, it was just like, saca esa chingadera de aquí, like, get that out of here.
That's
I'm
it.
like,
Yeah.
I guess, man. I'd be like, I guess, whatever, I'm out.
But that's what it comes to, you know, your parents, of course. And you're
Yeah.
under their roof. Like they say, well, you're under my roof, it's my law.
Yeah. Is there something that you guys regret not doing or doing in the graffiti or breakdancing world?
Regret not doing. I think, you know, like I told you before, I wish I had kept the drive for it.
Okay.
You know, kept the drive for it. But, you know, like you get older, you start having family and stuff, and you can't be out stealing paint and stuff like that. Because now you end up going to jail, but now you can't go to work the next day.
I get you. And that's a subject that I've been in conversations with a lot, because a lot of people feel that way, but I just feel like if you really love something, you'll make the time for it, whether it's good or bad. You know what I mean? It's like, for example, there's guys that like to go home and play video games. They can play video games all day, but they'll make that little 10, 15 minutes to be like...
Yeah, it's their time, you know. It's their little alone
downtime.
time.
Yeah.
Downtime.
How about you, bro? Do you regret doing or not doing something?
Not really. My son Ryan's with me now on this trip, and we spoke about it. And I was like, "Wow, you know, what would have happened if I would have stayed? You know, I still would have been with the guys and everything. Could we had done something different?" But then when reality kicks, it's like that means if I would have been here, I would have never been blessed with him, his sister, and his brother,
definitely,
and my wife, because then what I enjoy and love and cherish the most might have not been them. So I would have not had the privilege of being a father to 3 beautiful kids.
I totally understand, man. It's
that's
a blessing.
The thing that, you know, like, are you willing to give up this for that? Nah, man. To me, that's my life, my kids and my wife and my family, you know, my brother. Definitely. My only siblings, so of course, I got to love them. I'm not willing to lose that for nobody.
Yeah.
You know, it goes through your head once in a while. Like, yeah, man, imagine I would have stayed. Who knows? But I take what God gives you. That's the way you got to look at it.
Definitely, man. I totally agree. And I mean, I want to thank you guys for coming out today. And, you know, sharing your guys' story. Before we get out of here, do you guys have anybody you guys want to shout out?
Yeah, let me shout out Motion Master Al Ski. What up, bro? That's my blood brother.
Shout out your brother.
Yeah.
To me, it's always going to be my brother, Steve. Yeah. Shake City, because Shake City is always, you know, for life. That's what we always write. SCR for life.
For life. You guys heard it.
All my boys. It's just the people that I've met here, got to know better, which is, you know, something I really cherish. And a lot of them are Graff artists around our age. You know, it would have been fun. Yeah, it would have been great meeting these guys when we were young, you know. But I think I built enough friendship now to make it go forward. So always will have that respect for them.
Definitely.
Including yourself. And always thank you.
I'll tell you anytime, man. My door's always open.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What is this? I never understood this. Graffiti writers in 6 and 8 different crews. What does that mean? I never understood that. Like me and Crase was talking about that Saturday.
Yeah.
I never understood that. I have a crew. I rep my crew.
Mm-hmm.
The one crew.
Yeah.
What is it with all these different crews that they're in?
You know, I had this conversation this past weekend with fellow friends, and it was a deep conversation. And on my end, I feel the way you are. You know, like I wouldn't sit here and tell you that I'm from 100 crews, because I'm not. I only get down with my people that I grew up with and that I love to the day I leave this earth.
It's about loyalty.
And the loyalty, even though some guys do mess up from time to time, but I'm on the same boat as you guys. To all the guys out there, I mean, nothing against you guys if you want to rock multiple crews, but hey, drop a comment, let us know. What's up with that?
Yeah, tell us what's behind that. I mean, if that's what you do, that's what you do. But I mean, I just never understood it.
I totally understand. I'm on the same boat. Again, thank you guys for coming out. Got No Control Podcast, Graffiti Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check the Patreon on. Check our website. It's now up. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace. Till next time.